Have you ever felt it? That quiet, almost imperceptible shrinking. It doesn't happen all at once. It's a slow, gentle erosion, like a stone being smoothed by a relentless river. You're in a relationship, perhaps one that the world would call successful, and yet, there's a part of you, a secret room inside your soul, whose door you've had to lock. You don't visit it as often as you used to, and when you do it in silence, hoping no one hears. You feel a strange kind of guilt for the person you are when you're alone, for the thoughts you think, for the wild, untamed landscapes that exist inside you. And a quiet loneliness settles in, the most peculiar kind of loneliness there is, the kind you feel when you are lying next to someone. You start to believe that this is the price of admission, the cost of companionship, that to be loved, you must offer up small, essential pieces of yourself as a sacrifice, one by one, until what is left is an acceptable, manageable, and lovable version of a person you vaguely remember being. But what if I were to tell you that this feeling of loss, this quiet ache of self-betrayal, is not a symptom of your failure to love? What if it is, in fact, a sign of your deepest intelligence? A signal from the very core of your being that you are awake enough to notice the theft? What if this pain is not a flaw in your character, but a compass, pointing you away from a grand societal illusion and back toward the boundless truth of who you are? The problem is not that you are asking for too much. It is that you have been taught to settle for a love that requires you to be less. You see, we are all born into a great marketplace of affection, and from a very young age, we are taught the rules of trade. We are shown how to package ourselves, how to present a polished, marketable version of our spirit. We learn that certain qualities, predictability, agreeableness, consistency, are high-value commodities. And other qualities, our chaotic inner worlds, our unpredictable moods, our strange and beautiful eccentricities, are to be hidden away, deemed liabilities in the negotiation of love. Society has built a model of relationship that functions like a business contract. Two separate entities agree to a merger, outlining terms and conditions, expectations, and deliverables. The goal is stability, security, a predictable return on emotional investment. It's a tidy, well-organized system designed to minimize risk and manage the terrifying, unpredictable nature of human connection. And your exhaustion, your deep and profound weariness, does not come from a lack of love. It comes from the monumental, soul-crushing effort of trying to uphold your end of a bargain you never consciously signed. It is the exhaustion of the actor who has been on stage for years, playing a role they have forgotten how to exit. You smile when you are supposed to smile, you agree when you are supposed to agree, and you trim the wild branches of your soul so they fit neatly into the small pot you've been given. The friction you feel is the sound of your authentic self rubbing against the cage of this performance. It is the most honest sound in the world. And so, let us speak of the things that must never be placed on that sacrificial altar. Let us speak of the 5 sovereignties of the soul that are non-negotiable, not out of selfishness, but out of a sacred duty to life itself. The first thing you must never, ever sacrifice is your solitude. I don't mean the simple state of being physically alone. I mean the vast, fertile, and silent kingdom within you. In our world, solitude is seen as a problem to be solved, an empty space that must be filled with another person, with noise, with distraction. If you are alone, you must be lonely. If you are quiet, you must be sad. A partner who loves you, the story goes, will save you from this emptiness. They will fill your every moment, occupy your every thought, and become the cure for your aloneness. But this is a profound misunderstanding of what it means to be human. Your solitude is not a void, it is a plenum. It is the very ground of your being. It is the quiet cathedral where you meet the universe, where you hear the subtle whispers of your own intuition, where the raw, unfiltered truth of your experience can rise to the surface without judgment. To give this away is to give away your compass, your anchor, your source. It's like giving a visitor the deed to your house and then asking for permission to enter your own living room. A relationship that demands constant access to you, that sees your need for inner space as a threat or a rejection, is not a partnership. It is an occupation. It fears your inner world because it cannot control it. It wants to believe it is the only sun in your sky, and is terrified by the thought that you might contain your own galaxy. The lover who truly understands will not seek to conquer your solitude, but to honor it. They will be the guardian at the gate of your inner temple, not the invader. They will understand that the moments you spend alone are not moments taken away from them, but moments that allow you to return to them more whole, more present, more yourself. They will know that your inner silence is the wellspring from which the love you share is drawn. When you sacrifice this sacred space, you begin to wither. You lose your connection to your own center. You start looking to your partner for answers they cannot possibly have, for a sense of self they cannot give you. You become a satellite, orbiting another's gravity, having forgotten that you were born to be a star. So guard your solitude, cherish it. It is not an absence of connection, it is the prerequisite for all true connection. It is the silent, holy ground where you remember who you were before the world told you who you should be. The second thing you must never offer up is your essential strangeness. Think of who you were as a child, before the great sanding down process began. You had peculiar habits, bizarre fascinations, a way of seeing the world that was uniquely, gloriously yours. You were a strange little creature, as all interesting creatures are. Then, slowly, you learned to domesticate your weirdness. You learned that to be accepted, to be liked, to be loved, you had to perform a convincing impression of a normal person. You filed down your sharp edges, you muted your vibrant colors, you learned the script. And in relationships, this pressure is magnified 100-fold. There is an unspoken expectation to merge into a single, cohesive, and socially acceptable unit, the couple. Your individual eccentricities are seen as threats to this union. Your odd hobbies, your unconventional thoughts, your unique rhythms are smoothed over in favor of shared, normal couple activities. You stop dancing alone in the kitchen. You stop talking to your plants. You stop writing that strange poetry you never show anyone. You trade your wonderful, specific, and irreplaceable weirdness for the bland comfort of being one half of a predictable whole. You become less you and more us. But your strangeness is your signature. It is your unique frequency in the grand symphony of existence. It is the divine spark of originality that makes you you. To sacrifice it is to commit a slow, quiet suicide of the soul. It is to tell the universe that its creation was flawed and needed to be corrected. A relationship that asks you to be less strange is a relationship that is afraid of life itself. It is a relationship built on fear, not love. True love does not seek to normalize. It is fascinated by the other's oddities. It celebrates their unique, unrepeatable quirks. It creates a safe space where the wildest, most peculiar parts of you can come out to play without fear of ridicule or rejection. It doesn't say, "You're weird, change." It says, "You're weird, thank God, so am I." When you start to hide these parts of yourself, you begin to live a lie. And the energy it takes to maintain that lie is staggering. You become a curator of a museum of a false self, constantly on edge, terrified that your partner will discover the real, strange, and untamed you that lives behind the exhibit. The relief, the profound liberation of being with someone who not only tolerates your strangeness, but is utterly captivated by it, is one of the deepest forms of love there is. Do not trade your magnificent, one-of-a-kind weirdness for the cheap imitation of normalcy. The world has enough normal people. It needs you in all your glorious, unapologetic, and essential strangeness. This leads us to the third treasure you must protect: your own evolution. Our culture has a very strange idea about love. We treat it like a destination. You find the one, and the story ends. The credits roll. You are expected to crystallize into a fixed and permanent state. The person you are on your wedding day is the person you promise to be for the next 50 years. We make promises to never change, as if change were a form of betrayal. We build our relationships on the fantasy of permanence, on the illusion of a static self. But look around. Nothing in the universe is static. Everything is in a constant state of flux, of flow, of becoming. You are not a statue, you are a river. The person you are today is not the person you were 5 years ago, and is not the person you will be 5 years from now. Your beliefs will shift, your passions will change, your understanding of yourself and the world will deepen and expand. To promise to remain the same is to promise to die. It is to agree to dam the river of your own becoming. A relationship that is threatened by your growth is a prison. It demands that you betray the fundamental law of life, which is change. It will punish you for your evolution. If you discover a new spiritual path, it will call you flaky. If you decide to change careers, it will call you unstable. If you outgrow old beliefs, it will accuse you of being a different person than the one it fell in love with. And its accusation is correct. You are a different person, and you are supposed to be. That is the whole point. True connection does not fear change, it embraces it as the very essence of life. It is two rivers flowing side by side, sometimes close, sometimes a little further apart, but always moving in the same general direction. It is a dance between two evolving beings who are committed not to a static image of each other, but to the process of each other's becoming. The commitment is not to who you are now, but to who you are, and who you will be, and who you are in the process of becoming. It is a love that says, I don't know who you will be tomorrow, but I am excited to meet them. I will not hold you to the person you were yesterday. I will love the you that is emerging. When you sacrifice your evolution, you begin to resent the person for whom you've halted your journey. A deep, secret bitterness takes root. You are standing still in a moving universe, and the strain of it becomes unbearable. You must give yourself permission to grow, to change, to shed skins, to be reborn 1,000 times within one lifetime. And you must seek a partner who is not a zookeeper trying to keep you in a carefully labeled enclosure, but a fellow explorer, thrilled to venture into the unknown territory of your future selves together. The fourth thing you must never give away is your connection to the whole. This is a subtle one. A relationship can become a very cozy, very comfortable, and very small world. It can become a fortress of two, with the drawbridge pulled up against the rest of existence. It's us against the world. All your energy, all your attention, all your love is funneled into this one single channel. The relationship becomes a substitute for the world, rather than a way of experiencing the world more deeply. Your friendships may fade. Your connection to your community may wither. Your sense of being a part of the vast, interconnected web of life can shrink until it is confined to the four walls of your home. This is often mistaken for devotion, for intimacy, but it is a kind of spiritual poverty. It is the delusion of the single wave that has forgotten it is part of the ocean. Your purpose in this life is not to find one person and disappear into them. A true and healthy love does not shrink your world, it expands it. It should make you more, not less, available to the rest of life. The love you feel for one person should be a catalyst that deepens your love for everything. For the trees, for the sky, for strangers on the street, for the entire cosmic dance. It should be a window, not a wall. A relationship that is jealous of your friendships, that resents the time you spend on your own passions, that demands to be the sole recipient of your light and energy, is a black hole. It consumes, but it does not radiate. It is based on a model of scarcity, on the fear that there is only a finite amount of love to go around. But love is not a finite resource. It is a current that flows through you. And the more channels you open for it to flow through, the more powerfully it moves. The love you have for a friend doesn't diminish the love you have for your partner. It enriches it. The passion you have for your art doesn't take away from the relationship. It brings a more vibrant, passionate person into that relationship. So do not sacrifice the whole for the part. Do not let your relationship become a beautiful cage. See it as a home base from which you explore the universe. Let it be the place that nourishes and strengthens you, so you can go out into the world and be a more compassionate, more engaged, and more loving human being to everyone and everything you encounter. The goal of a partnership is not to create a private, exclusive world for two, but to create two people who are more capable of loving the entire world. And finally, the fifth thing, which is perhaps the thread that weaves through all the others. You must never, ever sacrifice your playfulness. Look at the way most relationships progress. They begin with the lightness of a dance, spontaneous, joyful, full of laughter and surprise. It is play. Then, gradually, it becomes serious. It becomes work. It becomes a project to be managed. We talk about relationship goals. We keep score. We have meetings about the state of the union. We worry about the future. We carry the baggage of the past, and we forget the sheer, unadulterated joy of the present moment. The dance becomes a march. The music stops and is replaced by the dull hum of obligation. We are taught that this is maturity. This is what it means to be a serious couple. But this is a grand deception. The universe, in its very essence, is playful. It is the great Hindu concept of Leela, the divine play. Creation is not a serious business. It is a cosmic dance. And the point of a dance is not to get to a certain spot on the floor. The point is the dancing. The point of music is not to get to the final note. The point is the listening. When you sacrifice your playfulness, you sacrifice the very spirit of life itself. You are trading the joy of the journey for the anxiety of the destination. A relationship that has lost its sense of play is a relationship that is dying. It may be functional, it may be stable, but the light has gone out. You must protect this spirit of play with a fierce devotion. It is the ability to be silly together, to laugh at your own absurdities, to make up games, to be spontaneous, to prioritize joy over efficiency. It is the recognition that the deepest forms of intimacy are often found not in the heavy, serious conversations, but in the shared, uncontrollable giggles over something ridiculous. A partner who constantly shuts down your playfulness, who sees your silliness as immaturity, who insists that everything be serious and purposeful, is a partner who is deeply afraid. They are afraid of the chaos, the unpredictability, the beautiful meaninglessness of the present moment. They are trying to control life, to nail it down, to make it behave. But life will not be nailed down, and love, which is the very essence of life, will certainly not be. So do not let your relationship become a job. Do not let it become another item on your to-do list. Remember the dance. Remember the music. It is the sacred, joyful, and playful spirit that is the true purpose of it all. And so, you find yourself at a crossroads. You feel the ache of these sacrifices. You feel the ghost of your solitude, the ghost of your strangeness, the ghost of your becoming, the ghost of the world you've shut out, the ghost of your own laughter. What now? The answer is not to burn everything to the ground. It is not to start a war. It is simply to stop sacrificing, to stop pretending, to gently, quietly, and unapologetically begin to reclaim your own sacred ground. A silence will fall. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of fullness. You will stop fighting the current of your own river, and in that stillness, you will realize that the love you were so desperately seeking from another was a distorted echo of the love you were refusing to give to yourself. You were trying to find a home in another person without ever learning to be at home in your own being. The peace that comes from this realization is unshakable. It is the quiet power of a mountain, the deep calm of the ocean floor. You will still love, of course. You may love more deeply and freely than ever before, but you will love from a place of wholeness, not from a place of lack. You will no longer be a beggar at the gates of affection, but a sovereign in your own kingdom, graciously inviting another to walk with you for a while. Some will call you selfish. Let them. They are the guardians of the old game, the game you are no longer willing to play. Your journey is not about selfishness, it is about self-fidelity. It is about honoring the truth of your own life. And a strange thing will happen. As you stop sacrificing these essential parts of yourself, you will become a more, not less, loving person. Because the love you offer will no longer be a bargain, a transaction, a performance. It will be a genuine, unforced, and radiant gift, flowing from the overflow of your own being. So the next time you feel that familiar pull, that subtle pressure to shrink, to hide, to conform, to be less than the gloriously complex, strange, and evolving being that you are, don't run from it. Don't numb it. Listen to it. It is not a sign of your inadequacy. It is the sound of your own soul, ringing like a temple bell, calling you back home. It is telling you that you are not broken. You are simply, finally, beautifully waking up.